Ah, things might be broken.
Oh, really?
We are live with Nicky T. Say hello to everyone, Nicky.
Ooh,
Oh, oh.
did it work?
Well, I don't know. I'm just getting a circly screen now. As with
Eventually.
all these things, everything works fine right up until you press go, and then it all goes horribly wrong. So, bear me.
8:14, we were good, weren't we?
It was fab. Oh, hello. Yeah, Albert's put hello. Hello.
Hey,
Right. Can you hear us? Can someone answer, please? We'll see if we can get the YouTube. There's not many people on our YouTube, but we have our
are we on
Facebook
now?
widget down here. It's all back to front. Nicky T is here in this corner, and just below, Richard Bennett's just signed in and said, "Hi, Nick." So everyone can
Hey,
hear us. We got people on YouTube. We got people on Facebook. Both chats are working. I'm not going to touch it anymore because I will break it. I promise you.
don't mess.
So, right, as long as everyone can hear us. Right, so that wasn't the slickest introduction, but hey ho, here we are. So, we are standing in for. Basically, we're standing in for Dexter's PB Lab. Big shout out to Dexter. He's not able to stream tonight, unfortunately. I think his imaginary dog has run away and he's got to go and find it. So, yes, I did ask, I did say, can we step in and just fill that void? And here we are. Right.
We should have worn wigs, shouldn't we?
Should have done, really. This is a test for Friday. We hope to go live Friday with a few people. And yeah, just running over a few topics. And I think we're probably going to run over those topics again today. So, Nick, how have you been and what have you been up to?
Doing well, thanks.
Good.
Just the usual grind at the moment. It's pretty relentless in terms of content creation.
Yes.
If only there were content creating fairies, life
This
would be much easier.
this is true. I don't think people understand how much you got to do to just create content for your
No.
Patreon, for your YouTube channels, and the amount of work that goes into that. Obviously, we are entering the off season. For many of us, there isn't really an off season to speak of.
Yeah, I think it's kind of entering that final phase of final commitments. Let's say whether that's CPPS 7-man, whether that's World Cup for some, whether it's 10-man at Nottingham or 10-man at Homebush, UK Woodland Masters. I don't think, are there any scenario games left this season?
We'll come on to that because I know Clash of Clans has been postponed or cancelled.
Okay.
But we've got Stalingrad down at Ballswood Skirmish,
Oh, in November. That's right.
which is always in November. Obviously, Stalingrad is going to be cold, it's going to be wet, it's going to be muddy, and that's part of the fun, in inverted commas again, fun.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
I'm sure there's going to be walk-ons. I'm pretty sure there's an OMG MagFed game coming up at some point. But yeah, I think it starts to get a bit chilly out there for most people.
It calms down, doesn't it? And markers get put in hibernation, as do players, to a certain extent.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, you've always got your Christmas bashes. People kind of put on some little scenario
Yeah,
walk-ons
there's
on
some big
things.
ones actually, aren't there? Some Crimbageddons and things like that. And
Yeah,
Skirmish one. I think Jed does one. I think Campaign does one. There's some good options.
yeah. I mean, yeah. We say off season, but really it's the end of the tournament season, and yeah,
Yeah.
the good weather has come to an end. Although, good weather? Did we have any good weather this year?
I reckon we had a couple of days. We did okay. I don't
Yeah.
think it could get worse than the weather in Amsterdam.
No, I saw some of Blitz's pictures from Amsterdam. It looked pretty grim.
Yeah. Even the ducks went to find somewhere nicer.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was it was grim.
It was, and whether that's had some impact, we were going to come on to this a little bit later, but obviously you had your Grand Central Classic, which happened this year at Paintfest.
That was wet as well.
That was wet. I mean, that was wet. Whether that's part of the reason that the guys at MPF revealed the shock kind of revelation, really, that there will be no more Paintfest next year. I don't know whether that's continuing on throughout forever, whether Paintfest's dead, or whether they're going to replace it with a different event, or whether they're just going to go back to their walk-ons.
I think, and by all means confirm with them, I believe that walk-ons are going to carry on.
Yeah.
And they may well do some other events. They are just moving on from Paintfest and Diamond Wars for 2020.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good few years that they've had that event running. Sometimes it is nice to take a fresh take on things. Sorry, I'm just updating one of my computers here. It's like NASA here, really.
Don't touch anything.
It's a separate computer. It'll be fine, he says as he crashes everything.
Many a times that's been said.
It'll be fine. Oh, whoops. But I hope MPF do come back with something. Hand on heart, I actually don't know what their plans are further than that.
I think it's, for a lot of site owners, event organisers, it's actually quite pleasant to have a bit of a break without concentrating on what is coming next. So, fair play to them. If they've decided, well, we're actually just going to relax for a couple of months, see how things go, see how we feel.
Yeah, sure.
And then decide what they want to do. I think that's perfectly acceptable, I think, in my book.
The majority of players, in my experience, having gone from a player to organising a few games in this country and abroad, there's not a huge amount of money comparatively in running these events for scenario walk-on players compared to, say, 300 rentals through a site is for Warped and MPF, and for Mayhem is a regular thing. It's not out of the ordinary to get that many people through. The amount of money that they arguably make out of the rental customers is a lot more for a lot less hassle than putting on these scenario events. And I think the passion for those scenario events and to get more people into the sport is really the main backbone and reason why these people are doing these events.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of site owners who are heavily committed to sustaining and growing the sport where possible. And we're in a bit precarious territory in the sense that we've got to support these guys if we want these things to continue.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we have seen a hit both yourself and I have been around for quite a few years now. From
ages. Yeah.
And we've seen events go from Hyperball to the big explosion in tournament, to the kind of slow decline in the tournament side of things, arguably. Although I have seen some statistics recently that have kind of blown that out of the water with the number of teams returning and playing at tournaments. But certainly it seemed busier. Maybe certain rose-tinted glasses, I don't know. And then we saw an explosion with Scenario Paintball. Part of that. Oh, I just came through your speaker, I think. But part of that being whether you love them or hate them, the Shoreline, the Super 6 and things like that really kind of, at that time, encapsulated that kind of excitement for Scenario Paintball. And then the decline of that. And it all... Will it come round again? I don't want to be down on it or anything like that.
I think it's one of those weird ones, isn't it? Where I have very limited scenario game experience. I've never played North versus South. I've never played the main big game. I've never played Borderlands. I've never played Red versus Blue, for argument's sake. So it's probably easier to have said what I have played. I've played superheroes a couple of times. But there's so much out there still to try from my perspective, and this is somebody who's been involved in paintball for 30 years. So there's still so much more to go at in the UK without even getting into Euro big game territory and anything stateside. So I think there's immense possibility to rebuild this scenario circuit. I just think it's sometimes they fall at the wrong time of year. Sometimes, whether for weather reasons, and there's a lot of, or summer holidays. There's always going to be, some reason that people can't attend, or too close to each other. And I think, or they kind of play so that they avoid CPPS dates, something of that nature. And, one of the stumbling blocks, in my opinion, is that the CPPS and the scenario circuit try and pick from the same pool of players.
Yeah.
And as an industry, we actually need to do a better job of transitioning first-timers to walk-ons to scenario, etc. Or walk-ons to tournament as well. And, there's a couple of stages where we're dropping the ball, or we're not necessarily dropping the ball, but there's holes in the filter and we're losing numbers considerably, and they never transition through the ranks. So, I'd love to see us do a better job at site level to get more first-timers hooked. And I don't think it's that hard to do. I just think it needs a few heads banging together and the right motivation, in the sense of make it fun.
Yeah.
If it's fun, people will come back.
Yeah.
If it's cheap and not fun, they won't. If it's expensive and not fun, they won't. So the link isn't cost. The link is fun, and that's what hooks people, in my opinion. And I think credit where credit's due. I love seeing things like glow-in-the-dark paintball nights that are coming up. I know Mayhem have one on Friday the 25th, and I think District 23 have one on Saturday the 2nd of November, I believe. So complete opposite ends of the country, but both fun.
I mean, if I can plug my own site in Callington,
and of course,
we've got a zombie shoot coming up.
There you go.
We've actually decided to go for a shooting range rather than a night game, which Mayhem have gone for the full-on night game. Just purely from our point of view, we don't. We've got a bridge and a castle, and it's in a quarry. There's too many opportunities to fall over and injure yourself.
That sounds fun. Let's go.
So yeah, it's just Anyway, I don't mean to plug my own site.
No, I think you should. I mean, this is kind of all of these, whether it's a shooting range, whether it's a walk-on, whether it's a rental day, if it's got something different and the site owner's making an effort, it deserves to be supported.
Well, Terry Anstey, sorry to interrupt. Terry Anstey says tryout days on tournament fields. So when you've got people that are interested in your local community about paintball, and they can come along and try, instead of the rental experience you normally get. Not that I'm saying that's a bad thing, but that's a different type of paintball than, say, a tournament field, which is high adrenaline, running around, and most people go, I didn't even know this existed. And
exactly.
on the flip side, with Craig Woodham has said MagFed again. If you can get a local team that are into MagFed and show people and showcase that niche of the sport.
Definitely.
It
doesn't matter what type of paintball you play,
as long as you've got those people interested and getting excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, if a new player gets into MagFed scenario or tournament, they're going to buy equipment, they're going to shoot paint, and they're going to pay entry fees, and that's all stimulating for the industry. So it really doesn't matter if you said to me now, right, choose for 2020, you can have 1,000 players join tournaments or MagFed or walk-ons. What would you choose? Doesn't matter. I'm just delighted that we got the 1,000 players,
because a certain percentage of those will diversify, and I think some people see this as a bad thing, the fact that we got little factions, like you got hardcore MagFed players that only play MagFed, you got hardcore tournament players that only play tournament, and I've seen people go from I will never play in the woods, I'm a tournament player through and through, and 3 years down the line they're like, wow, I've played my first scenario game and I enjoyed it. I had that spark come back. That
it's really simple, isn't it? I mean, there's vegans, there's vegetarians, and there's meat eaters.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who weren't born a vegetarian who've changed. I also know vegetarians who tried bacon and have never looked back. So just think about that for a second. You're not kind of joining a cult here when you decide to play MagFed. So you should never be shunned. It's, you can cross over as much as you want, as frequently as you want. Just play your sport, whatever paintball is to you, and enjoy it.
I mean,
that's where we go wrong.
It's amazing to see so many teams as well crossing over from tournament to scenario. Just off the top of my head, you've got Underdogs, you've got War Pigs, you've got South Coast Reapers, all teams that compete in CPPS and also play other aspects of sport. And to take it a step further, I think, does Stoney from Sandbaggers, does he not also play Airsoft quite a lot?
Yeah, Stoney's actually really good at Airsoft.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really good at Airsoft. He does. I mean, Stoney's one of those guys who can just kind of adapt to the format and stick within the confines of the format, if that makes sense. He knows airsofters don't really see eye to eye with paintballers, so he doesn't play like a paintballer. He plays like a really good airsofter.
Yeah, I've seen some of his YouTube videos, and it's he keeps it quiet. I mean,
airsoft though.
He keeps it quiet though.
They're not the same as us. So
I know people on both sides of the fence.
I don't want to lose people to airsoft.
No.
When we can get the gelatine gang. That's what I want.
That's where I think MagFed comes into its own.
Funny.
MagFed is our last bastion against losing more paintballers to airsoft. If the MagFed guys can come in and jump on them and go, no, come back.
MagFed is actually super fun, and you get patches.
Oh, there's always patches galore. They love patches.
They are. Shout out to the Spartan Actual MagFed guys, because that's my MagFed team.
Okay.
Choice.
Yeah.
The one time I played MagFed once was with those guys, and you could not ask for a more welcoming group.
Yeah.
They were absolutely fantastic.
I think it's again. I think some people have preconceptions about tournament players, MagFed players.
Yeah, and it was really cool. I mean, what I quite like is seeing walk-on days where everybody plays alongside each other. I think it varies as to how the field permits it / controls it, but it can work really well.
Yeah.
And, is enjoyable for all.
I completely agree. You find your niche, and never say never. And if you're finding you're getting bored or you're not getting that buzz anymore, try something else. You might find that spark again.
Definitely. I think it's fair to say, if you've not tried something, whether it be tournament paintball, scenario, or MagFed, you should at least try it before you form an opinion.
Definitely. So, moving on from setting the worlds to rights.
Have we ticked that box?
We've ticked that box. So I'll just write it down. We've sorted that. World peace will be coming in no time at all. What else have we got to talk about? What else is coming up? I suppose we've got World Cup. Let's have a little chat about the NXL. Halloween, yeah. I'm not going to talk about Brexit.
I don't understand Brexit. It doesn't really make too much difference for me unless they kick us off the island.
Well, again, he says, I don't want to get into it, and then immediately jumps into it. But I just worry about the UK and the prices, basically. Everything else aside, this is a paintball channel. We're going to talk about paintball. How is it going to affect us as a paintballing community? Will it see a rise in prices? Will it see a shortage in goods coming in to the country? A lot of our paint is imported from other countries. We have Sterling in the UK that do manufacture. However, I'm pretty sure they do import a lot of their raw materials. And if the prices go up, the prices are going to go up. So that's, for me, that's the only thing that really worries me is the cost of an already, dare I say, expensive sport, because it can be expensive if you play regularly. Will an increase in costs see us dwindle in numbers more? But that's but yeah, I don't want to get into that.
Oh, we could have.
Do
you want me?
Should we just avoid the subject?
Give me like 1 minute.
Well, what do people say?
Give me like literally 60 seconds, okay? If you want to
go on then. I'm going to sit back.
If you want to negate any increase in cost due to Brexit, get better at playing paintball. And this isn't, me saying everybody is bad. This is me saying there's an awful lot of wastage out there. An awful lot of players could be so much better than they actually are if they just applied themselves a little bit better. And this is an open invite. If anybody's struggling and needs help, contact me and I would be delighted to Brexit-proof your paint bill.
Brexit-proof your game.
Done.
They're done. We're moving on now.
Yep.
Okay.
Another tick.
Brexit sorted.
Ding.
I'll message Uncle Bojo and let him know.
Yes, if you've ever watched Deck's live stream, we actually need Albert and his sound machine.
Yeah, I'm sure he's there. He's on the.
I bet he's dinging away like a good one.
Yeah. You say buy a pump, loads cheaper. There you go.
There we go. I mean, joking aside, there's actually a lot to be said for that. You can see the generation of paintball players that grew up playing pump paintball, and they know how to move. They know when to move. They, by and large, all apart from Colin, know how to shoot pretty well. And it's just it was a different way of kind of yielding those formative years. Nowadays, it's very much young, small, fast, get stuck in, shoot lots of paint. And that's not always conducive to learning lots.
Do you know what I think they should do? It should be like the restrictions you have on motorcycles when you first learn. So you buy your Lux or your CS2 or your Dye M3 or whatever marker you're buying, top of the range, your first game. Yeah. You open it up and there's a Maverick pump in there with a little note that says, in a year's time, you can come and get your top of the range marker. But you've got to do like a season on this pump before you're allowed. There you go.
I don't think that would be well received.
No, opening up a box and there's 98 customs out there. It's like we all learn on these. You have to too. Splatmaster or something. Anyway, yes, back to NXL. I want to talk more specifically about next season and the shake-up within the European NXL circuit. With the NXL announcing that they will now be withdrawing North American teams from the NXL, so teams like Houston Heat, Impact, that have dominated the podiums since the NXL took over, and before that with the Millenniums as well. They were hitting podiums back then, and handing that over to teams like will it be handed over to teams like Tauntauns and Russian Legion, Joy Division, who are European teams, to make the European scene more competitive within that? Because arguably the Americans are a step ahead of us skill wise.
Yeah. I don't think skill wise, mentality wise. So, it's and really this goes back to Iron City Classic. They commit fully to every single move across the board. The worst team there commits fully. The worst player there commits fully. We have a culture where sometimes the best players don't commit fully. That's the difference. It's not skill, it's commitment.
Yeah, but I kind of see it from, if we look at the industry in America, paintball seems to be so much bigger, and I think we do isolate ourselves a little bit in England, or sorry, Great Britain, United Kingdom, many names, but we do isolate ourselves a little bit from Europe as well. So we're kind of a little bit of an oddity on our own, and I don't think there's the opportunity.
I think we've got some of the best players that we've had for a long time currently in the UK.
But have they got the opportunity to train as much, and are they taking it as a career path, whereas some other pro paintballers in America work in the industry, they work for companies, they're doing clinics and skills all the time and travelling around?
Yeah. I mean, none of the guys in the UK are taking it as a career path, and rightly so. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
It's, we can't keep kidding yourselves. It's it's nothing more. In the States, it's still a hobby, but some kind of fuel the fire by working within the industry. They make their money from their Monday to Friday 9 to 5 though, rather than their Saturday Sunday 6 till 6. So don't be fooled into thinking that there's a lot of players who are really churning. There's a handful that are getting paid to play, and it's a handful.
Yeah, sure. And they're predominantly stateside, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I mean, other than the Russians, yeah. When someone as good as Tavares has a day job working at GI, you know that there isn't big money.
Well, he's still working within the industry. He's still working in that kind of, and then
but he's not earning his money from podiums. Is the point?
Just quickly deviating away from that, Sam Medley asks in the YouTube chat. He goes, "Hey guys, I'm getting into paintball. Do you think this 10-man team games will be good for paintball? Also, do you think that Paintfest and Diamond Wars coming to an end?" We did actually already touch on Paintfest and Diamond Wars coming to an end. I think that the series has come to an end. It's run its course, and the walk-ons at MPF will still be going ahead, but I think Paintfest and Diamond Wars, as Kerry and Jed have already announced, will be, or this year has finished. But do you think 10-man games will be good for paintball? I'm assuming he means 10-man tournaments.
I think 10-man in general is very good because it's more inclusive than 3-man, 5-man, 7-man. And what I mean by that is you pick from a bigger pool. So the guys who would not get picked for the starting 5 now get a chance. The guys who would not get picked for the starting 7 now get a chance. And everybody has an opportunity to be effective on field and to play a part in it. And you see that from teams who have never played 10-man, and the weakest players are actually capable of making moves because the fields are generally bigger, they're generally wider, they're generally longer. So there's more opportunity to move and engage in the action and what's going on in the game. When you get that, you give yourself more opportunity to learn. And it doesn't matter what marker you have, what mask you're using, what paint you're shooting, what loader you're using, etc. It's just the fact that you are playing and you're alive and you are an active part of the game. In 5-man is very elitist.
Yeah.
It's, clash, done. Couple of bodies go, games, writing's on the wall, so to speak. In 10-man, anything can happen all the time. And that's the beauty of the format. And I think it's the old way of forging good players, because everybody was exposed to the opportunity to learn for longer. So that's my take on 10 man. I think hugely positive. Doesn't matter what level of experience you are, in the sense of strongest 10 man team in the world could have 2 of their players not be able to make it one day, pick up 2 rental guys and still compete.
Yeah.
So, that's the reality. And if you've not played 10 man, get out and try it. There's plenty of opportunity coming up. Heard great things about the Warp 10 man this weekend just gone. Heard fantastic things about the reffing there, fantastic things about the field, fantastic things about the paint especially. So, really, really well done to Tim and Jim for getting that one going. And, I think 10 men with classic rules as well is even more inclusive, because it facilitates that movement more so than if you just played 10 BPS ramp or whatever. So
again, I think 10 man in the woods, you're perfectly right. I think you can pick up guys that have never played before and go, hey, come on, jump in. It's not that the other guys are going to carry you, but they are. But you've got that more opportunity to sit back a little bit and kind of learn and get stuck in. And the best way to learn is to be thrown in the deep end. However, I think 10 man, when it comes to speedball, having been on the field at Mills on the 10 man, it is hectic. There's a lot of paint in the air, and
that to me isn't 10 man.
No,
if I'm honest,
it's woods ball.
That to me is it's like that to me at the Mills is we have a pool of players who have nothing to do.
Yeah, that's why it's on a Sunday
to do. And it's not as constructive as the other variants of 10 men that we've discussed.
No. So yeah, just to cover that, just to make sure people knew we were talking about woods ball 10 man rather than the insane 10 man that they had at Mills and NXL, which was crazy. Good fun, but crazy.
3 in XL, haven't they?
Yeah. Okay, skipping on. Albert says he's played his first 10 man this year. I'm assuming it was Grand Central Classic as part of the BZ Grizzlies, and they absolutely enjoyed it. So brilliant. Why doesn't paintball? Dan Phillips. Why doesn't paintball as a community do more to get companies and charities, etc., outside of paintball involved in some way? Paintball to me at the minute seems pretty self-absorbed. I think if we want to grow, we need to start reaching outside of paintball, even if it's to start with the progress, take minute steps. I think he's put there are still steps in the direction we want to progress, i.e. growing the sport. Now, growing the sport has become a bit of a cliche with the paintball memes and things. But yeah, believe me, Dan, people are out there. People are struggling, really trying to connect with companies at the moment. People like Nicky T. I know for a fact you've been out there grinding away, speaking to these companies, going, "Hey, we need this. We need you to start supporting us." And the fact of the matter is,
it just takes tons of time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the interesting thing about the charities. There are a couple of really good charity games that I can think of off the top of my head. There's even Superheroes, which is a full-on charity event every year. The charity thing happens. Maybe it doesn't happen as much as it could, but I think in this age of social media, you can pretty much find a charity to donate to every week on, your average Facebook stream. So I think it kind of dilutes the effectiveness of trying to do stuff like that, in my humble opinion.
I think charities and paintball for me have always been a mainstay. They've always been at the back of every event. There's always been a bucket handed around and collected. However, it has been tainted slightly with, for lack of a better word, people getting busted basically. There was the instance in America where a guy got away with several £1,000s for an autism charity.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
right.
it's a few years now.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Not like a this year, last year thing.
No. This is a few years ago,
Right.
and there has been even myself. I've raised money for testicular cancer. My daughter shaved off all of her hair for testicular cancer, and for a 14-year-old girl, that's a pretty big thing to do. And that
Yeah.
yeah, that money's gone into the charity, but there's still people who go, did the money go into the charity? Where's the money gone? Can you show the receipts? And this,
Yeah.
again, it's with social media. It's the kind of keyboard warrior mentality as well. People are always very suspicious of when it comes to charities and things. I don't think that should stop people from pushing charities at games. I think it's a good thing to do, but there certainly needs to be checks and measures in place to make sure that that money actually gets to where it needs to be going. And
Definitely.
and charities for people are very personal. You know, there's some people give to one
Yeah.
charity and not to another. And some people feel that they already give a lot of time and a lot of money, and they have their personal charity that they feel that they want to give to, and necessarily can't afford to give to all the charities that are out there, which are all fantastic charities, I'm sure, and do all good work. So charities are, like I said, they're a mainstay, but I don't necessarily think they should be forced
It's a
on
tough
people
gig,
as much.
isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
because it's such a noble, humble thing to do, is to raise money for charity. But on the flip side, you've also got people saying, hey, it's for charity, give more.
Yes.
So I think it's a very, very unsafe area to kind of tread, as it were. I don't know. It's down to the individual person at the end of the
It's
day.
inconsistent, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So, yeah, I would agree. I would
But
agree. I think, though, to answer Dan's question, I
yeah,
think paintball could do more, but I think it could do more in other areas to help itself.
yeah. I think the perfect person to really speak to, which I would love to have on the chat at some point, is Leds. And if you don't know
Oh,
who
he'll
Leds
love
is, sorry,
it. He'll love it.
he'll love it. He will. But
He
Leds,
will.
if you don't know who Leds is, he's basically the owner of Planet Eclipse, and he has done so much for paintball over the years. If you go to YouTube, not now, stay here, but if you go onto YouTube and type in, I can't remember the name of the TV program he was on now. Was it Splat or X-Fire, Crossfire with an X-Fire?
Yeah, it was Crossfire and Mission Paintball as well.
I know he had
So
involvement in that, and in fact, you can see some of the Planet
Crossfire was the
Eclipse
one.
boys competing
Yeah.
in one of those, which I'm sure he won't be embarrassed about. 'Cause I don't think they did that well, actually. But
In Crossfire, no, I don't think they did. So
it's all in the edit.
yeah, I don't remember that too much. So I know that they beat the Russians in the final of Mission Paintball at Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Not that we're going to open up old wounds or anything.
no, it was actually okay because before that final we agreed to split the money, so
Whoever
it was
wins.
okay.
Oh, Tom's just jumped in. He said, yeah, it was Crossfire. So, yeah. Right, just going through the chat then. What
Easily
else can we
offended.
do? Support younger players to break into paintball. 8 to 11-year-olds have walk-on access, 50 cal. But what do people think about a UK tournament for this age group? Ainsley actually tried. Well, he put out the idea of an under 16s, was it? 50 cal at the CPPS, but I just don't think
Yeah.
people took to it. He said he
There's
didn't.
weirdly, there's actually a German kids championship at the end of this month that they have every year that I found out about in Amsterdam.
Okay, well, it's worth
That
pushing
is
and promoting.
basically it's a lot of existing paintballers bring their sons and daughters to play. Basically, I think all the equipment is provided for them, other than in terms of markers and loaders. I think you've just got to have your own goggles and
Off you
rock
go.
up and off you go. Yeah, exactly. And I think
think
it's 3-player.
okay.
3
I know CPPS did look into it, and I think they wanted to put the event on on a separate day to the actual CPPS, just purely because of logistics, and the kids might be intimidated by all of the adults there, and a lot of the people playing will want to see their kids play as well. So it became a bit of a, well, I want my kids to play, but at the same time I don't want to let my team down, so I want to go and play as well. So I don't think it kind of gained traction in the end. Obviously I'd need to speak to Ainsley about that, and if it is possible.
I think there's definitely some opportunities, and I know that there are already some talks going on about doing something for 2020 in that area. So watch
this space. Yeah.
We're going to make it happen.
Moving on. Where's the imaginary doggos and McDonald's Wi-Fi? I can quite proudly say there's no McDonald's for about 10 miles from where I live, which is fantastic. And my dog's right here. My dog's asleep somewhere. It's in the other room. It's not imaginary. I showed it on the live stream the other day. It's real, 100% real dog. So yes, we answered some questions and deviated off slightly. Well, we've probably got another 15 minutes or so left of the stream. It's been 45 minutes already. Blimey, that's flown by.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
You've done okay.
Crazy. So yeah, well, let's finish our conversation about NXL Europe. Someone posted up, I think it's Terry, saying that the Russian Legion had already committed to USA for the season. Whether that's confirmed or whether that's just hearsay and what they've heard. But I believe, the Russians will be competing in America for the season. But will there be another Russian Legion team to fill in for Europe? Have they got enough to fill that? I mean, it would be crazy not to send, the main guys, as it were, off to Europe, and then I think they can still have one or two players that are playing over there in Europe as well. So,
I think it's a good thing. Personally, I think it's a great thing to use that talent base to bolster and enhance their respective communities. It's a crying shame to me that a lot of pros from the States choose to come to Europe just to play, rather than do constructive stuff back home. They don't always have to be doing clinics to get a paycheck. Think about the work they could do with local schools, for example, to introduce them to paintball.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff of that nature now become affordable, applicable. And I mean, on one level, you've got sponsors paying for these international flights. If those funds were redirected and used more constructively to encourage more people to play paintball, then we could be in a very different place in a few years' time because of this. So I see it as a positive. I see it as it creates opportunities rather than takes away players.
Yeah.
Because I think it's I see murmurs of the firm hinting that they're going to play pro next year. I hope the Lucky 15 step up and play pro. We've got the greats like Breakout Spa. They've got a really strong second team as well. So
Joy Division this year did actually quite well. I think didn't they get a third or a fourth at one of the events this year?
Third in that to them. Yeah. So Joy Division. Stockholm Ignition. There's some really Helsinki Cyclone. There's some good teams out there. Let alone the Coming At Years, etc. And in a weird way, there were probably players on the fringe of all of those teams who were getting shunted out by, American players coming over.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting as well to see if they. I can't understand why they would put a ban on US players coaching over here. I think that would be a great thing.
Yeah. I think it's certainly going to make the pro division in Europe more competitive. Not having Impact dominating the podium. Obviously, if Russian Legion aren't going to be dominating the podium, and Houston Heat.
I mean, there's some great Russian teams. Headshot could step up and play at a pretty high level.
Red Storm,
if they wanted to. Red Storm,
those guys could
exactly.
really put it out. I think.
It would be nice to see the teams actually concentrate on building their franchises, though. I mean, one of the kind of standout moments for me this year was I went to a couple of Monster Jam events, and when they came to the UK. Now, prior to the actual event, there was so much opportunity for fan engagement and branding, and actually growing the franchise and fan base that paintball is completely oblivious to. Very occasionally you'll have a poster signing at a booth at an inconvenient time for
it always is.
most players.
And sometimes it's just cancelled because it rains anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, not saying that everybody should. I think it's inconvenient to have it during the event. You almost need to have it right. If Thursday is the field walking day, have all the meet and greets on the Thursday. It could just be restructured so much better.
But what worries me about the pros, I still think that some of the pros will attend Europe. I think we still will see Greenspan, Moorhead, Nico, guys like that coming over, Rabakov coming over and playing with teams over here as guests.
I don't know if we will. All those guys are getting older, settling down, families.
So where are the new guys? Where are the new guys coming in? But this is the point.
What it's going to create. It's going to allow
people to fill those gaps.
Come up. This is where the homegrown talent needs to grab this opportunity and run with it. Become the freaking stars, because you've got that opportunity, and we've got the capabilities.
Oh God!
You just have the depth of talent in the lucky 15s.
It's just hit me. Does that mean Jack's gonna be all like ego boost and from the luckies? I don't think I could stand more ego boost in Jack. What's he gonna do?
He won't
become a superstar.
So he won't. I mean, honestly,
I'm just teasing.
I think the under 19s GB team, serious talent.
Yeah, definitely.
Serious talent and good kids. And they've all got the opportunity to step up and do something great.
But again, for what I was trying to get to was for the European guys that want to attend the NXL Europe. Part of that highlight is meeting their paintball idols, and to get something signed by them, to get a jersey, to shake their hand, get that selfie with them. And by taking some of that away, is that going to impact the sport short term before we can kind of get our own, like you said, our own celebrities, our own stars and people we look up to, in place, as it were?
I mean, nothing is stopping the average player going to the World Cup to meet all their celebrities.
That's true, but the World Cup is, it's a nice thing to do, but it's not cheap, is it?
Great thing to do. It's not cheap, you're absolutely right.
It's not cheap as popping over to Paris for the weekend.
Well, I mean, even that's expensive, right? It's, it's not cheap to travel and play paintball. Paintball isn't a cheap sport.
I found cheap ways. I'm a photographer. I have to get there smuggled in someone's luggage.
Yeah, I mean, photography, a little bit different. If you're playing paintball, not a cheap sport.
Yeah, I just waltz through the airports. I don't have to bother with all of that being carted to one side. Right, before we go then, we've got 10 minutes left. Neil Springate asks, who's your current UK current top MVPs that could cut it in a US pro side? So if you could take 3 guys that could cut it in pro. From
James Green.
Yeah.
From the Lucky 15s. And this is, they would have to move to the States and gain the American mentality.
Yeah.
So is reality, You can't travel over there and play with them for a couple of weekends, come back for 2 months and repeat. You live there and do it properly. I think James Green could do it. I think Josh Anelli is capable of doing it in terms of skill and physical ability. He's capable. Third one, who would I pick? Who would your three be whilst I think of my third?
Oh God, you put me on the spot there. The thing is, I'm a photographer. I don't actually watch them play. I just take pictures of them. I mean, I take pictures of. I think Sandbaggers is probably who I took pictures of most. Bath stands out. James Bath.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those. I mean, I think I've not seen him play much if at all this year, but I actually think George Langley has got a phenomenal paintball brain. He just needs to go less gangster and not be a twonk. But
you heard it here
told
first.
Him that to his face. And I think he wouldn't have that luxury if he lived over there, trained there, and played. I think he'd grow up rather quickly.
Yeah.
So that would be my three.
That's your three. Jabba's just said, are you going to ref CPPS again? Or was that just a one-day wonder?
Yeah, no, I will.
There you go,
Enjoyed
Jabba.
it. Enjoyed it a lot more than I expected, actually. And, hugely insightful experience. So, yeah, I will. Definitely.
Awesome. That's good. Again, shout out to refs. Now,
huge.
To get a little bit serious for a second, the CPPS do need refs. They've got a budget there for more refs on the field. So if any players are like, oh, there's not enough refs here, the guys there are trying. They pay their refs really well. It's not an easy job. It's a tough job to stand out there all day in the rain when it is raining, and to make those split decisions and calls, and to get, for lack of a better word, abused by the players in the heat of the game, which is all part of the game for me as well. Is the fun and the kind of
Yeah.
But
do refs get any equipment? Do you know? As in, if you commit to the entire season of reffing, do you get, right, here's your goggles, for argument's sake. Here's your jersey.
I don't know personally. I think you have to speak to Peter Marsh from the UK Refs, or Jabba, and speak to those guys. But I'm sure there is some. I've heard there's some kind of sponsorship involved for refs, so they do get some subsidies on stuff. Then, obviously, if you want to take it a step further, then there's UK refs that carry on.
Yeah. I mean, paintball companies out there. Be a smart move to sponsor the refs, in my opinion.
I
If
think
you want to encourage more to come in, get busy.
But again, if anyone out there is wants to subsidise their game on a Saturday, and wants to go and play on the Saturday and ref the Sunday, what perfect event to go to than CPPS to do that.
And you actually learn as well when you ref.
Oh yeah, you do. You learn the rules, which is always useful.
Yes.
Because every player thinks they know the rules, and it's amazing how many don't.
All the best refs are on the sideline when it comes to knowing the rules, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
So, if anyone's interested in reffing, get hold of the guys. Lastly, before we go, we're going to be running over time a little bit. I want to talk very briefly about the awards. Paintball Magazine are putting out an awards this year. It's an online. I'll probably be live streaming it. I'll get my tuxedo out and some glittery stuff behind me. We'll have some little awards either printed out, or if I can get something from some companies, I might even be able to blag some proper trophies. Don't know yet.
Are you going to where you have pre-recorded acceptance speeches?
I might see if I can get people live. Because
you should do that. That would be phenomenal.
I'm trying to get 4 cameras set up, or 3 cameras at the same time, to have all the people that are nominated on the screen, and then obviously see the moment of their heart breaking when they don't win, and the look of envy in their eyes. and then
That was great.
watching people flounder as they've been awarded a speech. And yeah. So I don't know. It's all early days. It depends. Again, this is part of the test stream.
It sounded like you committed to 4 screens live.
I don't even know if it's technically possible. I'm sure it is.
But, well, you said it was. So.
Oh, Hugh's. I've got to say hello to Hugh. Hi, Hugh. He's just in the chat.
Hi, Hugh.
So yeah, the awards. We've got obviously
Was it physical ceremony, or is that for future years? Is that the goal?
The goal would be, it would be fantastic to go back to the days where we had, it cast your mind back to 2002, I think it was, the PBUK awards, mostly tournament with a little bit of scenario. The PBUK awards turned into the UK Scenario Awards, which then turned into, it's kind of a contentious area really, but Shoreline kind of took the helm for that, although the voting was done via Cambo. And yeah, it all kind of fell apart. You know, we won't get into the ins and outs of it, but the awards, who knew Martello was so cruel? I am cruel.
No, say it how it is.
I just say it how it is. But yeah, it kind of fell apart, and the awards are something that, as a community, I think we should have, just to celebrate what we have in the community, and just to give some recognition to the teams that put in all the work and the individuals that go above and beyond for the sport, and you know, just to have a bit of a laugh really. I would love next year 2020 to have a proper, it doesn't have to be black tie necessarily, but a proper award ceremony where we all sit down at tables and, you know, either a buffet or a meal or whatever, just have an awards and get drunk like normal people do.
I mean, it's like sounds like a winning formula. So I think you're right though about it's very important to celebrate the talent that we have within the community. So
it's something to aspire to. Again, we'll get onto this in a minute, but the awards for, if I just take an example, for the tournament side, we already know technically who the best team is. You know, the Lucky 15s won the series. Those guys are for the CPPS, which CPPS isn't the only tournament series in the UK. I want to stress that. However, it is the biggest tournament series, and it has the most teams competing. So for this example, we will take that as kind of tournament as a whole. And again, a lot of teams that compete in other tournaments also compete in the CPPS. That's just my little disclaimer. But so we already know technically who the technical teams are, who won. So put that aside, when we come to best sort of pro team, it doesn't necessarily mean technically who won the most events, because we already know that. It's which team has put in the man hours, which team has put in extra training, which team fields another squad to bring people up to a level, which team goes out and does clinics and, you know, goes above and beyond basically, and that's what we're looking for. And the same with scenario teams and things like that. We're not racking up how many, whether, you know, I'll just use my team because we never do anything anywhere, but Team Pups attended 10 scenario events, and out of that 10 they won 8 of them as a commander. You know, it's, take that aside, it's not about who wins the most, it's about who is the team that pushes the support forward, you know, for promotional side of things, if that makes sense, or if I just waffled on for nonsense.
No, that makes sense.
So
it's your awards as well.
Well, yeah, so it's my awards. I'll do what I want.
Exactly.
No, it's but to be again serious for a second, I think the nominations need to come from the public, and this is why the nominations, I've had loads and loads of nominations in via Facebook and email, and you can still nominate up till the 10th of November. Nominate who you want to nominate. If you want to nominate yourself, great. I don't mind. I'd rather you didn't, but if you want to, do it.
Do that. Don't nominate yourselves.
But not nominate your team, nominate another team. But what I'm looking for is reasons. it's all very well you saying I nominate this team, but why? Why do you nominate this team? Give me a little bit of background. You know, I want to take it a step further. I want to know why you think that team is deserving of that award. Then what we'll do is we'll take in all those nominations. I will go through it and see who the most popular nominations are, or any that stand out as a good cause. Then I will compile, say, 10 from each section. I don't know. And then I will go to a pool of elders. I'm hoping yourself. Jim from Warped, the guys at GI. Oh yeah, I'm going to give you a list of people that you go look through and go, these are my top 3 people that I think should be awarded the award.
I'm also allowed to nominate.
You're allowed to nominate. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
You're allowed to nominate as many as you want.
Got some good picks.
So what then I'll do is, once I've got the nominations in from the general public, I'll compile them into a list, send them off to the elders, yourself, people like Leds, Banksy, Ash at GI, Ainsley at CPPS, and I will get those people's opinion, and then I will bring them back here, and I will collate them into, okay, these people think that these people are going to get the awards. And really, it's only going to be me that knows at the end of the day who has won.
You should definitely pre-record some acceptance speeches.
I should, just to wind people up.
Yeah, no, do it. What are the categories then? Come on, I'll do my nominations live if you want.
Okay, nominations live. Oh my god. Hang on. Let's have a look. Oh no, I'll probably go on to this one. Has anyone got the nominations? I should have pre-prepared this really. Hang on. Nominations.
Script this.
You can tell we're scripted. I don't believe in scripts. It's like Tooth Fairy and Father Christmas.
If there's a scenario category, I feel I should fast forward.
Here we go. Right, again, this has also put people off because they say, I don't play tournament, so I can't nominate anyone. Don't nominate a tournament section, nominate the scenario section. I don't mind if it's an incomplete list, as long as I've got nominations for that. So
I'm going to omit the scenario section.
We'll admit the scenario section, which has, and I will go through them, UK Game of the Year. I was going to put it into UK Game and UK Big Game because a big game is slightly different to a normal game. But then again, there's only like 3, maybe 4 big games anyway, so they would all be in the list. So it's just going to be UK Game of the Year. MagFed Game of the Year. Scenario Team of the Year. MagFed Team of the Year. Newcomer Team of the Year.
There we go.
Male Player of the Year. Female Player of the Year. And Young Player of the Year under 16. So
cool.
Now we'll move on to the section you're interested in.
Okay, the section I can vote on.
So it's like airball tournament, section. So, first one, Pro Team of the Year. Obviously, we already know that Lucky 15s won the series, CPPS series, convincingly.
I'll say the Mustangs because I think that they've done themselves proud.
Yeah. I mean, for what's essentially, they're not really a second team. They're not a second team. They are Lucky 15's Mustangs. I think they stand on their own merit. And anyone that calls the Mustangs a second team is essentially they're wrong.
Those kids are good.
Yeah.
So I like them. Yeah, Mustangs.
Okay, so Mustangs. Divisional Team of the Year.
Oh, like any division?
It could be Breakout, Break-In, it could be Div 5, it could be Div 1. I mean, that's a broad spectrum. There's a lot of teams in there. Trash Pandas.
From Div 5, I believe.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I think they start. Did they start Break-In, Breakout, then go up Div 5? I don't know. But yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah. They've got two brothers.
Yes.
Nathan and Mickey Pitt, who are, don't know if any of you remember Stevie Pitt from the Nam Wrecking Crew. They're his half brothers.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So,
runs in families.
In their blood. Yeah.
So Trash Pandas, which may clash with your newcomer Team of the Year, because obviously Trash Pandas only came in, I believe, this year.
Damn my lack of forethought.
So do you want to... I mean, there are other newcomer teams. One team, for me, that has stood out for newcomer team of the year has actually been South Coast Reapers, who have consistently improved every single round to podium at the last... I think they got second, or did they get third? But, you know...
I'm gonna say, stuff you, this is my vote, and go for the Dungy Dogs.
Dungy Dogs, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, newcomer team of the year. They have done pretty well, and they have podiumed quite a few times as well.
Yeah, they've been consistent. They've done well.
And I've had the pleasure of taking pictures of them as well, so plenty of...
And they're the most awful kind of playing jerseys.
I tell you what, the really colourful one, it plays havoc with the settings on my camera. My camera does not like their jerseys.
I bet.
It's like...
It's out there, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it looks like a Jackson Pollock, definitely.
Yes.
So, next category is the Rising Star Award. So that would be someone that has come seemingly maybe out of nowhere from and kind of really ramped up their game this year to kind of compete or kind of stand out, really.
Thomas Carroll from the Mustangs.
Yeah. Okay. Any particular reason? Or are you just going to...
Future. So, the kid just gets it in terms of processing on field, real time, way faster than his peers.
Yeah.
So, and you can have a conversation with the guy, which instantly like...
And he takes it on board.
So,
okay.
He's just, grounded, good kid. So, yeah.
Okay.
Although he plays the top division, I think he's fast making a name for himself for all the right reasons, and I like that.
Good. Right, next one, male player of the year.
I'd actually give that to a real... Is there a young player of the year before I waste it?
There's a young player which is under 16s. Now, the under 16 category, as long as there's... For most of... Or they were 16 in 2019. If they're 17 in September, then I can still accept that, as long as they were 16 for most of the season.
Young player of the year, Rory Blizzard from Dungy Dogs. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Male player of the year, probably give it to James Green from the Luckies.
Okay.
Because I think he's been consistent throughout the CPPS, and I thought that he played brilliantly for Team GB as well.
Okay, cool. Right, female player of the year.
Abby Coker.
Okay.
From Midland Prevail. So, super gobby.
Blonde hair?
Changes the colour of her hair quite regularly, I think. So,
I'm just trying to think. Midland Prevail, black jerseys, white logo. There's a female player that plays Snakeside, I believe. Quite loud.
Abby. Yes. Very loud. Great on-field vision, and just constantly wants to go, and really coming along well.
Okay.
So
next category, young player of the year, under 16.
Is that Rory that I've chosen?
I think so.
Or is that a different? Yeah, Rory Blizzard.
Okay.
Nailed.
Right, the next section. Again, this is still within your remit. Woodsball tournament. For that, I will include Grand Central Classic as well. It's a Woodsball tournament, Warped Series, and the UK Woodland Masters. So for Woodsball, team of the year. And there's a few teams that cross over. I mean, Underdogs are one of the teams that Capital
I've
Killers.
got to give it to Turks. So fair play to the Turks, leading the series in the UK Woodland Masters. Make the effort to go up to the Wildwoods events in Inverness.
Yeah.
Played Sweden, to the best of my knowledge. Might have even gone somewhere else foreign.
Foreign lands.
They are.
How dare they?
Yes. Yeah, they are great ambassadors for Woodland Paintball.
I think, and the Turks is one of those names synonymous with Woodland Paintball that goes back to mid-90s, I suppose, if not before. These guys have been around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Darren and the guys. The Turks thoroughly deserve it, in my opinion.
Okay, so newcomer team of the year.
Oh, that's a good one for Woods Ball.
BZ Grizzlies.
Oh, that's a good shout, actually.
They did well for a first outing at the Grand Central Classic.
If it was entirely on fun, hands down, I can't contest that. I'm just trying to think, make sure that. Yeah, Grizzlies. Go on, done.
Go on then. I just pushed you into that. Rising Star Award for Woods Ball.
Oh, see, unfortunately, I can't give that to the Grizzlies as well. Rising Star for Woods Ball. Capital Killers. They're getting consistent.
It needs to be an individual.
Oh, does it? Just a player? Jake Jones from the Capital Killers.
There you go. We've just lost our Facebook chat as well. Never mind.
Oh, have we?
Let's see if I can get that back. Oh yeah, there we go. It's back. Right. We did Rising Star. Male Player of the Year for Woods Ball.
Male Player of the Year for Woods Ball. I'd have to pick one of the Turks.
Okay.
But I'm really with their names, which is shocking, I know. But yeah, pass for now.
One of the Turks, but he doesn't know. Is it one of the ones with hair or one of the ones without hair?
It's one of the ones with hair, okay, and it's one of the ones that can run. Dan. Dan is his name, I'm pretty sure. I forget his.
He's not on the front cover of Paintball magazine, is he?
He may well be, because that's a solid publication.
It could be. This could be the Male Player of the Year. I might have been ahead of the curve there. It might have been a sidekick.
You never know.
Well, it's him running, and it's a Turk, and he's got hair. So we've found the Turk. Right. Yeah. Female Player of the Year for Woods Ball.
I knew you asked that. There's a lot of them who act like girls. I'm trying to think. I would say I give it to Megan Hull from Capital Killers.
Yeah.
Always there, always getting stuck in, and always willing to learn.
Yeah.
So
tick and tick.
Wins for attitude every single time.
And lastly, Young Player of the Year.
Oh, easy one. Harry Schmidt.
Okay.
Matt Schmidt's. Yeah, he's coming on leaps and bounds. And again, mainly because not only does he have, a super kind of proactive dad helping him along the way, but he's getting to that age where he's getting physically stronger and bigger, and
beat up his own dad.
Carrying and using the equipment is becoming easier. So yeah, he's fast coming into his own.
Neil says, can I nominate my 7-year-old daughter Lily as an up-and-coming player? Yes, but I don't think she would have played much in the way of paintball yet.
Rules.
Yeah, sorry. Got to legally play. Then we're going to have some random nominations. There will be standout refs, because we've got to give shout-out to the refs. There will be a...
standout ref, Anthony Martin.
Here
we go.
Yeah, fair enough. I've basically there's people behind the scenes. I've got to mention Matt Carver, who does a lot for the webcast and things like that for CPPS. He does a lot behind the scenes. Guys like that. Obviously, everybody knows Ainsley from the CPPS, but Dylan as well, who puts in a lot of work on the site and generally doesn't take as much of the credit, it seems. and not just the CPPS, but across the board. So there will be little awards going out for refs, people behind the scenes. Might have some amusing awards. It depends how long it goes on for, because I don't want to bore people to death with stupidest run of the year, or most painful leg breakage or something like that. So yeah, another thing that we want to do is photograph of the year. And things like that. Although I don't think I can nominate photo of the year or anything like that.
I don't think you should do a photo of the year category.
But I don't think I can be part of that judging team. I think if that was to happen, and I would like it to, because we got some fantastic photographers out there as well. And without
photo is done and dusted.
But
you can't beat the jump shot. I've got a copy of the photo of the year here.
It is a nice shot, isn't it?
It's a great shot, and no other photographer would have any qualms about that winning, because they all know it's the best. So, I mean, enjoy 2019 is what they should be thinking and saying, and come back strong in 2020.
Yeah.
So I think that's a done and dusted one. Saved you a couple of minutes there on the.
Maybe I should just say, except not this shot.
No, because then it's not photo of the year.
Then I think, hang on.
Could have been photo of the year category.
I mean, that would be my second choice. Chris booting his spire across the field. Oh, just knocked the camera.
That was a big one, wasn't it?
Oh, it caused some controversy online. It was quite funny. People jumping in, not knowing the full story, but hey. Right.
Never. Fine.
Lastly, before we go, thank you very much for joining me. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. Thank you to Nicky T for coming in, spending his evening chatting to all of you lovely people. Please, guys, share this live stream. Tune in on Friday. We're trying to get a few people. I don't know if Nicky T wants to come back and join us again Friday, or you're busy. I'll put you on the spot there. That's not fair.
I'm actually going up to the lakes. I'm afraid.
He's prior engaged. He's got real life to deal with. We'll get a few people in. We're going to talk about layouts and other bits and pieces. But yeah, for those that don't know, we got a Discord channel where you can join in and chat. We got our YouTube channel. Please go and subscribe, because as Nicky T knows, you need like 1,000 subscribers before you can blooming get anywhere on YouTube. So we really need to get to that point. These live streams will go out onto YouTube. We're also looking at doing some videos and bits and pieces like that for next year.
Cool.
We sent off some magazines this week to a publisher. So fingers crossed we can get the price back on actually making the magazine national, a proper publication, which is nice. And yeah, we have our calendar coming out at the end of the year, and we even have some Christmas cards, paintball themed Christmas cards coming out. These are very crude little drawings I've done. These are my
the little sketches.
Yeah,
the other day.
We're turning them into Christmas cards available for like the Patreons to buy. And things like that. So yeah, I don't want to harp on about my own stuff too much, although I probably should do. I should be a little bit more brutal in what I do, but I don't. So
you should just talk. I'd have mentioned it. I'm going to order some Christmas cards.
And check out your Patreon as well.
So
if you want to plug your Patreon, now's the time to do it.
These guys
already know. They're already Patreons.
Well, it's just get people out there playing paintball and having fun. I'd rather you did that. So that's what's missing.
Okay, don't subscribe to his Patreon. Subscribe to my Patreon. There we go. Because I need all the internet money for beans and things. Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much to everyone who has commented down below for joining in. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see everyone soon. Are we happy? Are we good to say goodbye? Say bye-bye.
I think so. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.